This is Lorenzo, and this is the Training Map Taxonomy video series, lesson number 9. It's on the 5th dimensional skill, which is focused on core development in the lateral chain. The lateral chain is part 3 of our 3-part core chain series. By now, you guys should be more familiar with the matrix layout. We have our dimensional skill on the left. So which dimension are we looking at? The lateral chain. Which domain? The core domain. And the skill is contra-lateral or rotational control. From a muscular perspective, this dimension is all about internal and external oblique development. Moving on to the right of our matrix, we have our modality benchmarks. It's really only one. It's going to be the human flag, which falls under the purview of gymnastics. We're then going to conclude this video by looking at the specific benefits associated with working towards and achieving the side lever. Okay, so let's take a look at the 15th benchmark in this series, the side lever. It's the only benchmark in the series, as I mentioned. The side lever is also known as the human flag, and it's a benchmark of stability, hence why it's orange. You can see it performed here. Don't be intimidated. Looks a lot harder than what it is, especially if you compare it to the front lever and the back lever. And so while this looks almost impossible, I know many people who have achieved their side lever or human flag in less than 6 months. This is a benchmark of position, not offload. No weight involved, but time can be involved, but it's primarily a benchmark of position. So if you're a guy, once you can achieve once you can get into the position, then you're encouraged to work towards 12 seconds. And why do we have time as well? Because if you can just hold it for a second, we don't really know if you got the movement or not. So 12 seconds is a demonstration of complete control and stability in that position. And if you're a girl, working towards 6 seconds. Currently, I'm still on the first progression, but make no mistake, the demand on the obliques is quite exceptional. I've mentioned this before, but it's important to keep in mind that your benchmarks, they're demonstrations of mastery rather than your strategy or the movements you use to get there. So you may use many supplementary movements, and they will typically require that you focus on mobility, some stability work, and strength work to get to the side lever. So for example, the lean track is a routine we put together to help you achieve the side lever, just like we've created different routines to help you achieve all the other dimensions mentioned in the series. So speaking of mastery, to master the side lever is to master lateral chain, rotational control. Now, how does one know how to train for a particular benchmark? What are the physical requirements? Well, just like with every other benchmark that we've discussed so far, almost always any movement that you want to be able to do will have some kind of a mobility, stability, and strength or power or endurance and speed, depending on the dimension, component to it. So you want to attack it from at least one of those 3 angles, either within a single routine or in isolation. My recommendation is always to do it within a single routine, and so that you can look at and manage your deficits accordingly. So the lateral chain is no exception. And so the physical requirements are shoulder and spinal mobility that you need to work on. As you can see here, you need some degree of shoulder mobility. Of course, spinal mobility. For example, we need lateral flexion. The average person has 20 to 40 degrees of lateral flexion. So it's not just that we want mobility within our spine, flexing to the side, but that we also want to develop strength within that range. And that's really the function of stability. So we also need pelvoscapular stability. And finally, when in a more dynamic context, we want to develop dynamic shoulder and spinal power, unlocking all these benefits. Speaking of benefits, and as I mentioned in the last video, that people train for benefits, not so much benchmarks. But what they don't know is that if they work towards this benchmark by working on mobility, stability, and power, which are functional benefits, they will unlock all the benefits that they want. And so because the lateral chain is the third leg in our core stability tripod, focusing on shoulder and spinal mobility will further help reduce or prevent low back pain. It will translate into more efficient lateral forces, which is the whole point of mobility. We then want to develop strength and control within that new range, giving us the injury resistance that we want. Rotational control is also foundational to many daily activities, such as carrying, twisting. It's essential for helping us stabilize unilateral upper body movements, such as you can see here with the one arm row. The human flag or side lever and its derivatives is perhaps the single most important benchmark or exercise that you can work on to develop your internal and external obliques. Finally, lateral chain rotational control is foundational to many sports, such as golf, sprinting, which involves and requires a lot of contra-lateral rotation, and not to mention boxing. So if any one of these 7 benefits of lateral chain rotational control appeal to you in one way or another, then working on your side lever or human flag is what you want to do.